Hey everybody, I'm day 3 into my first 4-day fast. I've done a bunch of 3 days, 48 hours every week, dry fasting, but it's my first 4 days, so I'm learning and teaching. So going to give you a rundown of how I'm feeling, and we're going to talk about blood glucose, because a lot of misconceptions with hypoglycemia and whatnot. So this morning, now yesterday when I was at a 43 with my blood sugar, that was after a short bike ride with the boys, so that might have made it go a little lower. But this morning upon waking, I was 77. Just did it before, around 12:30. I was at a 70, so it's tightly controlled, right? I worked out pretty hard this morning, did a tiered system, 6 sets, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it was difficult, but I was fine with the workout. Not in ketosis yet. Last night the strip was showing a little bit of ketosis, but that's not the main point. I'm just doing this to experiment and teach. So I feel absolutely fine. Day 3, what I've noticed when I've done the other day 3s, hunger pretty much becomes a non-issue. Okay? So as you fast, your main hunger hormone called ghrelin basically starts to bottom out, I should say, not plateau, but bottom out. When you're doing a low calorie type of plan, that's going to keep rising and you're going to run into issues. You can't stick with that. So again, different pathways are being worked here when you're doing fasting. So worked out this morning. Tomorrow night at some point I'll break the fast. That'll put me at 96 hours, probably around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Drinking my juice. Now I want to talk about blood sugar, because a lot of people say, well, we've got to control our blood sugar by eating all these small little meals. Okay, I'm maintaining my blood sugar. How is that happening if I'm not eating? All these people that say they have to eat frequently to control blood sugar, that is the drug aspect of food. Your blood, there's a conversion process, right? When you're constantly putting in glucose, then you constantly have to spike insulin. Once insulin starts coming down, it's going to signal a lot of times hunger to go back up. And people say, well, your blood sugar's low. Let's control that by eating these small little meals. That is treating, whether you're overweight, obese, whatever, or you have other ailments, that's treating it with the drug. That's not what you want to do. Your body will tightly control your blood sugar. Otherwise, we would not have survived as a species. Normal blood sugar, healthy range, is between 70 and 84. And you can get a glucometer and do this yourself. Upon waking, it's usually going to be in the mid to upper of that range. Some people it's going to be higher. Now that could be a stress or lack of sleep issue, but upon waking, from mind map, when I teach that stuff, right, we know that's a high stress period physiologically for the body, because you're going from a sleeping state to an awakened state. You're changing environments. So your body and cortisol helps, right, blood sugar raise up. But your body's got to gather the sugar and get it ready to disperse out to your muscles, right? Go back to how humans evolved. When we're waking up, we need to be able to gather, look at our surroundings, get ready to gather food, go hunt, protect ourselves if we need to be protected. So of course it makes sense that blood sugar is going to rise a little bit upon waking. Another thing we got to think of. Glucagon is a hormone that a lot of people don't talk about. It's kind of the opposing hormone to insulin. If insulin is raised and you raise insulin by eating, you will never lose weight and you will not lose fat. When we go a period of time without eating, so fasting, 2 things stimulate glucagon: fasting and exercise. When glucagon is raised, that means we are in the process of using stored body fat. That's why we have body fat. We don't store body fat for looks. It's food. You have to reframe that. You need to get off of this constantly feeding the blood glucose. Let your body do its thing if you want to lose the weight. So adrenaline, right? That's why adrenaline and coffee, caffeine, right? That stimulates adrenaline and epinephrine stimulates glucagon. That's why those supplements are so tied into fat loss, promoted for fat loss. So what happens here, right? A triglyceride, basically stored body fat, a molecule of stored body fat, has a glycerol backbone, okay? As you stop putting food in, we break this apart, and that's the idea. the glycerol will be converted to glucose. Right? So your body is going to tightly control your glucose. None of this hypoglycemia stuff. Hypoglycemia, when people start pointing the finger at that, is because they're getting hangry and they're having a little tantrum because you're not giving them the food that they're so used to based on their entrainment patterns. Entrainment patterns are when we've been trained to expect food. And that's the hangry thing. Just push through it. Don't be a baby. Push through that stuff. Anyhow, getting back to this. So the glycerol backbone of the fatty acid will get converted through gluconeogenesis. That will get converted to glucose. You're going to tightly control this number, your blood glucose level. The fatty acids, right? Each triglyceride, that's where triglyceride, we have 3 fatty acids. They'll get broken down and converted to ketone bodies, which your brain can use. Your brain can get 75% of the energy it needs through ketones. It's actually very good for the brain. Actually, and I was just reading, the Pentagon is probably going to go with the Navy SEALs and the higher end soldiers they're going to almost kind of make it mandatory that they have to be on a ketogenic diet. But that was pretty cool. I might post that article. So we have all this stuff going on. Let me think if there's anything I forgot. Hypoglycemia to me is a complete myth. Insulin is what we have to worry about. Insulin keeps the blood sugar. When it gets too high, insulin is released to kind of disperse it. And when we do that constantly, that's where you're going to get insulin resistant and pre-diabetic and whatnot. Glucagon keeps the blood sugar from going too low. You will not go too low unless you have a rare tumor, right? This is not going to happen. So stop with this whole blood sugar thing. You got to keep it even. That's a bunch of phony science, and it's using food as the drug that it is. Food is to be enjoyed. Believe me, I enjoy my food. If anything, the longer fasting has made me appreciate it even more, and it's helped me change my paradigm with food, right? So that's where we're at with day 3. I'll report back tomorrow, 4th of July. I'll do a quick video. I'll probably go for a nice long walk in the morning, then go to a party or 2, and I'll wrap up this first 4-day fast tomorrow night. If you have questions, please post them below. If you have comments, post them. Hit the share button or hit the thumbs up if you liked it. And that's all I got for you today. Have a great 4th if I don't see you before that.